Assalamu alaikum. Army Public School and College Khaniwal. It's second year subject biology lecture. Chapter number 19, behavior. The topic is innate behavior that we are going to discuss about. Yes, yesterday we discussed about the behavior. What was the behavior? Yes, any action or response towards others is called the behavior. And there are two types of behaviors: innate behaviors and learning behaviors. So today we will see about the innate behaviors. Innate behavior is the one behavior that is no need to learn. It is present when you born, or it is also known as inborn or intrinsic behavior. So simply you can define innate behavior, a behavior resulting from genetically determined neural programs that are part of nervous system at the time of birth or develop at appropriate point in maturation. Or we can also define it is a collection of response that predetermined by the inheritance of specific nerve or cytoplasmic pathways. Means that for this behavior, inheritance of specific nerve is responsible, right? Here you can see the different diagrams. One is the spider spinning a web. This spider is spinning a web. This spider doesn't learn how to spine this web. It's just spinning it because it is inborn behavior of this spider. Birds building a nest. If a bird is building a nest, they don't learn how to build it. They just build it because it is inherited and it is inborn characteristics. It is inborn behavior. Caterpillar making a cocoon around themselves, and this is also an inborn behavior. And dolphin leaping from the water, you can see that when a baby dolphin born, she don't learn how to leap, she just leap it. It's mean it is also inborn behavior that we don't learn the child, they learn it by themselves at the time of birth. For the purpose of the innate behavior or inborn behavior, you can say that it is genetically determined. How? Because it says that it is predetermined by the inheritance of specific nerves, right? So specific nerves are responsible to perform such activities or to give such responses, that is called the behavior. So for this purpose, you can say our central nervous system and peripheral nervous systems are also involved that genetically determine this innate behavior. So inborn behavior, that is no need to learn. It is with you when you born. Okay, now we are having the two types of innate behavior here. One is the orientation behavior and second is the non-orientation behavior. What is orientation behavior? Yes, orientation means animal changes position in specific direction in response to some stimulus is called the orientation behavior. You can say animal change its position or alignment related to points of specific directions. Orientation means direction. The behavior which is followed by some direction, or simply you can say animal changes position into specific direction in response to some stimuli is called the orientation behavior. And second is the non-orientation behavior, there where it doesn't require any direction. It is without the directions. So let's start with this orientation behavior. Its first example is given here. Its type is taxis. What is taxis now? That is type of directional response, right? So what is taxis? Taxis is directional movement. What it is? Directional movement, because we said orientation behavior means it shows certain directions. The behavior or the action that take place in certain directions is called the orientation behavior. Then its type is taxis. What is taxis? It is a directional movement toward or away from the stimulus. You can see here, this is a stimulus light. And you can also see this is one microorganism, right? And this organism is moving towards this stimuli. It's mean directional movement. This is directional movement towards the stimuli. It's called taxis. As it is towards the stimuli, it's mean it is positive taxis, right? And here you can see this is also light, but the phototaxis, photo mean towards the light. The movement that organism shows towards the light is called the phototaxis. So basically we are talking about the phototaxis, that is example of taxis. And here you can see this euglena is moving back from the light. It's this arrow is showing that it is moving back, and it's mean it is a negative phototaxis. Means the movement is also taking place here, but away from the stimuli. Light is a stimuli here, but it is moving away from the stimuli. So it is called the phototaxis. Because light was involved, that is why we said it is phototaxis. Now we say there is an other type, other example for this. This is a chemotaxis. You can see here. Next is a chemotaxis. Here you can see this one organism is showing movement towards certain chemicals, right? This movement towards certain chemicals that are the chemicals are the stimuli is called the positive chemotaxis. And here it is moving away from the stimuli, these chemicals, then it is known as a negative chemotaxis. So this was the first type of orientation behavior. So we have done with this orientation behaviors first type taxis. Now let's see another type, tropism. What is tropism? It is growth movement. That the axis was the directional movement, where it forms the direction, it moves. Now it is growth movement related to the directional stimuli. That in this the plant, you can say it can grow. For this purpose, you can see that we have covered this plant from all the sides, like right. So all the sides are covered. Only this one side is uncovered. It's mean we want to see the tropism, the growth movement. We want to see that this plant show a way in which direction it shows the movement, not movement, the growth. Sorry, the growth process taking place here. So you can simply say that it is moving towards the light. You can see its direction. It is moving towards the light. So it is called a phototropism, right? But here you can see that this is a plant, and you can see that here, here is geotropism. Geo mean earth. Tropism mean growth movement towards the earth. Here you can see the roots of the plants are growing towards the earth, and these leaves are going away from the earth. It's mean this is negative geotropism because it is moving away from the earth, and it is growing away from the growing towards the earth. That is why this root area is called the positively geotropic. So the phototropism, here you can see this growth is towards this stimuli, and here there is no growth. It's mean this growth movement of plants towards the light is called positive phototropism, and where there is no growth, that is the negative phototropism, right? And here geotropism, that growth take place away from the earth. Here the leaves is called negative geotropism, and this is the roots structure that is growing towards the earth is called the positive geotropism. So these are the behaviors known as the tropism, that are the growth movements related to the directional stimuli. So orientation behavior was about the directions. And any confusion here? Yes, class. If you have any confusion in taxes and tropism, please let me know. Speak up.
Miss,
I have
clear
a.
है.
Yes?
Clear हो गया.
Okay. Then move ahead. Now, here is non-orientation behavior, right? What is non-orientation behavior? In orientation, we were following the direction, right? But in these behavior, animals do not show particular movement in response to a stimuli. It's mean here is no need of stimuli, right? So construction hanging nest by birds. Okay, this is non-orientation behavior. Here you can see one nest. This is called the hanging nest by birds, and these birds have made these many nests that are called the hanging nest. And this type of nest are constructed by this species of sparrows that is called the Locust philippinus, right? So they make their nest like this, as you can see in this picture, and where they construct their nest. They usually construct their nest on the place which is where they can get food and nesting material and water very easily. So it's mean nearby area is having these old facilities. That's why they construct their nest like this. As it is non-orientation behaviors example, how it is non-orientation's behavior example. You can see female visit and choose nest. When the process of breeding take place here, what happened, you can see the female visit and choose the nest. When male and females are paired, male complete the nest. When she checks this nest, the male birds, then what it does, it completed the nest, right? Every generation shows same behavior for the breeding process. It's mean they haven't learned it. First of all, it is innate behavior, and the second thing, it doesn't need any stimuli. It is without the stimuli. That is why it is called the non-orientation behavior. It's mean without learning. They haven't learned it. It is just in their genetics that they do so. Whenever they do breeding process, for that purpose, the male construct the nest after checking of female. Next is another example of non-orientation behavior, construction of intricate web by spider. You can see here, this is one spider and it's constructing this web. Yes, you can see here you can see the web. And in this web, you can see that here is a proper geometrical shape of the web. How it take place? For this purpose, this spider, it's having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These 8 eyes are present. And with it, this part, its legs part from here, wherever this spider put its webs, put its legs, from here it secretes the silk that makes this web. You can see here that if you see the structure of this part, right, this one, we see it closely from here, you can see these are the spinerets. These are the spinerets that are the leg-like structure, right? These are the leg-like structures, and they make the webs. These spinerets makes the web in the what is this? Spider. Yes, this is the spider's spinerets, meaning it's the leg structure from where behind it you can see the silk glands. From here, it gives the silk towards the spinerets, and the spinerets then makes the web, the silk web. And you can see here how this silk is secreting from here. Silk fibers emerges from the spinnerets like this. First of all, they are in liquid form. After that, they becomes a little bit solid. So this is also one example of non-orientation behavior. Are you clear with this? Two examples, the making of hanging nest. Next is the construction of spider web. These two are the non-orientation behavior because they don't need any stimuli and they are without learning process. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ahmad, you are very late. Next is non-orientation behavior. Another example, mating behavior of stickleback fish. You can see here, this is the stickleback fish, and this one is the female, and this one is the male. For the process of the breeding, what it does, it shows its it changes its few characteristics, like its eye color changes into the blue, and here this trunk regions gets red, right? You can see that it has turned its color into the red. Now what it shows for it is just attracting this female stickleback fish. What happened after that? This female follows the male species, and after that the male take this female towards the nest, and there it prods at the base of the tail of the female. When the male prods at the base of the tail of female, uh, at that time the female lays the egg in the nest. You can see here that inside of this nest the female lays the eggs, and then the females come out. After that, males spray its sperms over the eggs, and after that they get fertilized. So this behavior for the breeding process shown by the stickleback fish is also non-orientation behaviors example. So here here were the a few examples that I had shared with you. Now I'm going to tell you about the non-orientation behaviors, that it includes reflexes, instincts, which consist of emotions, sentiments, and habits. Now I'm going to tell you about its reflexes, about the non-orientation behavior that is innate. What are the reflexes? Reflexes are simply, you have already discussed it in nervous coordination, the reflex section and the reflex arc, if you remember. That reflexes are the involuntary responses. As you can see here in this diagram, this is a small dotted black area is showing the pupil in the eye, and you know that pupil is responsible to catch the light intensity. If the light intensity is high, here you can see there is no light and the pupil size is normal, but here you can see the light is bright. That is why pupil has constricted itself. The constriction of this pupil is the involuntary response, right? So involuntary response change occurring inside or outside the body is called the reflexes. So simply you can say a reflex is an automatic involuntary response to change occurring inside or outside the body that usually does not involve brain. And you know very well that this is also type of autonomic nervous system in which message doesn't go towards the brain. From spinal cord, motor neurons interpret the message and give back the response. So the reflexes are clear to you, students. For this purpose, here is another example. Like whenever you swallow the food must be goes toward this esophagus, the food pipe, right? But in certain cases, when you are not eating food consciously, it goes towards the trachea, the windpipe. This is a wrong path. It shouldn't be go there, right? But if some food particles try to enter in this tract, what happens? Suddenly you start coughing, right? When you cough, it is also a involuntary response that is called the reflexes, and this is a non-orientation behavior. Are you clear with this reflexes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, miss. Next is the instincts. What are the instincts? This is a fixed action pattern, right? This is fixed action pattern. No need to learn the species or the individuals what to do, but this behavior is fixed in them. You can say it is inheritedly or genetically. Like migration of salmons, these are the fishes. You can see here they migrated in fresh water after 6 to 7 months. Let's see that how they migrate. It is a fixed action pattern like migration of salmons. You can see here, this is a mature salmon here. When it is spawning, and what is spawning period? The spawning period is a period is that period in which the female lay eggs, and uh, the males fertilizes that eggs with the help of the sperm. Here you can see these are the eggs now. These are the hatched eggs, right? Because the female has laid the eggs and they have been fertilized also here. Now they are hatched eggs. After that, you can see these hatched eggs give birth to the new salmons. And what happened from fresh water? These salmon started to migrate towards the ocean. This is fresh water and it can be the stream or rivers, right? But when this water moves towards the ocean, these salmons also move towards with that water towards the ocean, and here it just it spent its long life period here. It's this period is of short as 6 months. It minimum you can see it can be of 6 months, like in long as 7 years it can stay here in the ocean. But when it needs to breed, it just go back towards the place where it was born. And it can be done after the 6 months, or it can be done after the 7 years. This is a maximum and this is the minimum time span that I told you. And hence it goes back towards the place where it was born. So this is a fixed pattern that they do so for the process of the spawning. So it's called the instincts. That is also non-orientation behavior. Are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, you can see here one other example for this instincts that is showing one fixed pattern. Same pattern you can see in these honeybees. You can see that the honeybees are here in their hives, and in their hives they just collect the nectar and moves in the hives, right? The movement in the hive shows that from where they have collected the nectar and at how much distance the nectar is available. When they move in their hives, their movement, their pattern of movement, from like if they are in round pattern, if, or you can say simply if they are in doing round dance, showing round movement, it's mean it's mean they have collected the nectar away from 50 to 70 meters from the hive. This pattern shows the other bees that it has collected the nectar from this distance, right? And but sometimes the spiders, so not spider, it is honeybee. The honeybee shows the waggle dance like this zigzag dance, right? And this movement shows that it has collected the nectar more than 75 meters away from the hive. So this is a fixed pattern. Their movements or their round dance or their waggle dance shows that from how much distance they have collected the nectar. So this is also instinct. And here you can see that this is the hive, right?